So we're in Georgia this week, and I'm a little bit bored. A little bit of a background of why we're back in Georgia. I worked out here at a place in pretty much straight east central Georgia, right on the South Carolina line. Been working out here for about the past 14 months, and they let our group go last month, about a month ago. So we left our camper and everything out here. We went home back to Arkansas, and we spent about 3 weeks back home, thinking maybe something might come back up out here at this job site, but it hasn't so far. So we come back out to spend a week, visit with our friends, and gather up all of our camper and all of our stuff and head back home. So the wife's out with her friends today, and they're running around, and I'm back here at the camper, and it's turkey season here, but I didn't renew my hunting license because I knew we wasn't going to be out here for, for the entire season. I knew I was only going to be here for about a week, and I didn't want to spend the extra money on a turkey tag, so I'm kind of left without anything to do. So what I thought I'd do, because it's the right time of the year for it, is get out here and see if I can't find some morels, some mushrooms. There's a couple of Facebook groups that I follow in this part of the state that track the progression of the morels each year, and right now it should be good. They should be popping up everywhere. Need a little bit of rain, it sounds like, but I think we're supposed to get some rain tonight, so I'm gonna spend some time off and on throughout the remainder of this week out here on this place that I've hunted on, looking for these mushrooms. I'm not real good at finding them. In the southeast here, they say you need to look around privet. Of course, we look around ash trees, elms, different things like that. But I'm gonna do my best to see if I can't find a handful of them here this week, around this pond, and then down around this creek down here where we were bow hunting back in the fall. So I'm just gonna kick around out here for a little while and see what I can't find. Well, like I said, I'm not real good at finding these things. I've been stumbling around out here for a while, and the only thing I've managed to do is step in a bunch of mud up over my boots. Luckily I have my old work boots still, these muck boots with the steel toes in them, still here at the camper, so I was able to put them on to get out here and stomp around, and it's a good thing because it's nasty down in here. But I'm gonna get down here along this creek and try to find an area where there's some of that privet hedge. I think I know what it looks like. I had to look it up on the internet. We don't have it back home, but I think I know what it looks like. And I'm gonna look for some. I'm gonna walk down this creek until I find some of that, and in the meantime, stopping and looking around ash trees, because that's kind of what I do back home, and see if I can't find some. It's a good looking spot down in here. Places where I bow hunted back up over the hill over here. So I guess all I can do is keep looking, try to stay out of the mud. It's not gonna be easy, but if we can get some found, I'll show you a little bit in more detail kind of the habitat that they're found in and how to handle them, how to pick them. So we'll see. This mud will sneak up on you. It's just like there's no bottom to it. It's terrible. Sandy creek beds and privet hedge, ash trees, elms, The one thing about it though is around these creeks, you want to be careful. You want to look on you're looking for a lot of moisture in the ground, but also if it floods there a lot, it'll wash the spores away. So they won't be there. They won't be on the low side. Probably going to stay closer to the water, especially the shady spots where there'll be more moisture in the ground. Let's keep working up this creek. Still no mushrooms. Got a really pretty spot here. Inside of this hardwood ridge, down this little creek bottom. It's beautiful. I don't know if there's any turkeys here or not, but man, it sure is a good looking spot. Found a little 8-point deadhead from this past fall. Looks like somebody let it get away. But no mushrooms. Alright, so I've done a lot of looking this morning. Walked a lot of miles across this creek a lot of times. About lost my boots bunches of times. And I finally found one. Let me look, make sure I'm not stepping on another one here real quick. Now this is a trophy. Y'all get prepared for this now. Here it is. Well, that's it. That's what I've been out here all morning looking for. I sure would like to have more than one. That's almost not worth getting. But we're going to, just in case we get some more. Okay, so when you find one of these things, take your knife and cut it about a 1/2 inch above the ground. Don't pull it up. Just cut it like that and leave the base left in the ground. Now, the best way to carry these things, the best way to do this is to have what they call a lingerie bag, or just a mesh type bag, because that way when you're walking around in the woods, the spores will get kind of scattered around. But I don't have one of those. I have a dollar store bag, so that's what I'm going to use. One Morel. So it's been my experience that where you find one, you usually find more than one. So I'm going to spend a few minutes looking around in this area, this little creek bottom. There's several ash trees in here. I'll hunt them up, look around the bases of them. Nice balloon in the tree right there. So we're going to look this area out, make sure we don't miss any. And another one. This one was just about 20-30 yards from where I found the first one. Again, we'll take a knife, cut it about a 1/2 inch above the ground, and put it in our bag. And keep looking. Alright, so I found a spot here where I have found a couple. I found one right over there. I still got my bag sitting there beside that tree. And I just kept working down this creek, and I found a spot over here by a couple of ash trees. And I've found a couple. Probably those two were probably too small, but I know I'm not going to get very many chances to get out here and pick, so I'm going to get all of them that I can get. There's one right there. Usually when you find a little spot, you'll find more than one. Usually. There's another one right there. All these are pretty small. I'm gonna put my hat down, set those in my hat, get my knife out, cut this one. Two, three, four. So that makes 5, which is not awesome. There's another one, but it's better than nothing, isn't it? These are all little. Another one. Oh, these are all tiny. If I had the time, if I could just leave these, mark this spot, and come back to it, and that'd be the ultimate. There's another one. Okay, so I'm starting to get a decent little batch of these things. They're all small. There's no big ones in the bunch, but they're all going to fry up just the same. So I'm going to stop for just a second and show you this spot that I've been picking in. I've been in this one spot for over an hour now, and this is where I have found basically all of them. And a little old area, not probably 50 yards square. But what I've gotten into is this little old creek bottom. Okay, you can see the ridge up here beside me. All right, and it falls down into this creek bottom, and the water running right through there, right in there. All right, and the things that I'm looking for is ash trees and privet. Here in Georgia, they have an invasive species of plant called privet. And we don't have it back in Arkansas, not in North Arkansas anyways. But the ash trees is something that I've always keyed on in before. So what I got to finding though, as I came down this creek, the further up it I got, the ground became less mucky. That old black nasty mud became less and less, and I started turning into a little bit more sandy soil. Now you still need lots of moisture in that soil. And as I'm talking, I'm still looking here because I know there's some right here under my feet. But if I can find these little high spots in this creek bed where there's a little bit of grass and a little bit of weeds and privet and especially these old dead logs and stuff right here, if I can find these little high spots down here in this creek bed and I find a few ash trees in those high spots, now those low wet spots like that, they're not going to produce anything. All right, but these little high spots like this right in here with those ash trees like those right over there, this one right here, that one right over there, I found mushrooms basically around all of those. I haven't made it down that far yet, but I'm guessing that these little high spots like right through there and right over there where these ash trees are at, that they should hold mushrooms. There should be some mushrooms in there. So that's the way I'm wanting to go. I'm gonna pick this out and head back to the camper. But I wanted to stop for just a second and show you guys what this terrain looks like. Man, I struggle with this. This is one of the better days I've ever had looking for these things. If they would have been good big mature mushrooms, man, I'd have a well of a batch right here. But as it stands, I've got enough for me and my wife, and you can bet I'm going to enjoy them. And hopefully I can find a few more. I was on my knees here picking a couple, and got one right underneath me, right underneath my nose. Man, they're so hard to see, and then when you start finally seeing them, it's just like, oh yeah, there they are. Once you find that first one, it usually all starts to kind of come together. I'm gonna get this one, and then I'm gonna keep looking right here in this spot. And I just knelt down and found two. They're all still pretty small, but I'm finding a few along the way. But as I knelt down to pick up these two, and that's usually the way it goes, I found three more. Let's see if I can zoom in and show them to you. There's one right. Let's see, the purple flower, right in front of the purple flower. Yeah, right there. There's one. And there's two decent ones right there by that stick of wood. There's another one right there. A little better one. See if I can zoom in on it. There. Before I lose them, I'm going to get them picked, and then we'll see if we can't find some more right in here. Alright, so I've about picked this spot out as much as I want to. I went ahead and marked it on X, so that maybe if I get time later in the week, I can come back in here and look to see. It's supposed to rain tonight, maybe in the morning, and that'll be good for these mushrooms in here. It'll help kind of liven things up a little bit. Any of these little ones will help them to really put on. I just keep finding little ones here and there. Here's another one right here as I'm talking. I'm gonna pick every one that I see, with the idea that I'm not going to get to come back in here. So if I don't get them now, I'm not going to get them. But here's another one right here. Like I say, just keep finding them like this. I found several of them now. Take a look here in the bag. What we got? Usually there's another one right there in front of me. That's what I got there, and there's another one right here. I'm gonna pick them. If I see them, I'm gonna pick them. So keep looking. I'm gonna move further down the creek and then make a circle back up and head back to the camper.